Friedrich Nietzsche didn't just criticize weakness, he wanted to annihilate it. This wasn't about cruelty, it was about survival. And if you think kindness is always a virtue, this video will challenge everything you believe. Welcome to Unscathed Mind. This is where your illusions come to die. Let's begin. Nietzsche believed the modern world had become sick, not physically, spiritually. He saw emotional, intellectual, and moral weakness being celebrated instead of eliminated. And the virus responsible? Compassion. Not the kind that heals, the kind that coddles, the kind that turns dysfunction into identity. Nietzsche wasn't anti-human, he was anti-decline. He championed strength, willpower, ambition, forces that build civilizations. But he watched society glorify pity, reward failure, turn suffering into sainthood. He called this slave morality. It was born from ideologies like Christianity, which elevated humility, meekness, and obedience as virtues. But to Nietzsche, these weren't virtues, they were chains. He believed this morality was a survival tactic for the weak, a system built to protect the fragile from the strong. Think about it. A lion doesn't feel guilt when it devours a gazelle. But humans invented guilt to domesticate power, to shame the strong, to tame the dangerous, to turn lions into lapdogs. Nietzsche called this spiritual suicide. Pity thwarts the law of evolution. It preserves what is ripe for decline. When you protect weakness, you allow decay. You reward dysfunction. You hold back the strong. And this wasn't just theory to him. He saw it. Mediocrity being praised, excellence being attacked, a world where failure gets applause and strength is suspect. Fast forward to now. Faith has turned into hashtags, but the same slave morality thrives. We reward outrage. We idolize victimhood. We give attention not to the doers, but to the loudest sufferers. Nietzsche would see this as decay, plain and simple. Now, don't get it twisted. Not all compassion is weakness. But when compassion becomes identity, when it becomes law, you get rot. We teach people they're fragile, that they need safe spaces, that words are violence. That's not growth, that's regression. Nietzsche warned, he who fights with monsters should see to it that he himself does not become a monster. But modern society? It fights monsters by becoming soft, by pretending that fragility is noble. He rejected that lie, and so should you. Let's get something clear. Ruthlessness is not cruelty, it's clarity. It means doing what's necessary, not what's comfortable. People who are seen as ruthless rise faster. They make hard calls. They're respected. They lead. Stanford research showed that these people earn up to 28% more than their overly empathetic peers. In The Prince, Machiavelli wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." Not because fear is perfect, but because fear gets results. Love fades, fear holds, power respects power, not pity. This doesn't mean be evil. It means stop apologizing for your ambition. Stop hiding your edge. Stop bending to make others comfortable. Life is struggle. Nietzsche respected the warrior, the builder, the man who imposes his will on the chaos. You don't owe the world your niceness. You owe it your potential. So what's the ideal Nietzsche offered? It wasn't just critique. It was a blueprint, the Übermensch, the Overman. Not a perfect person, a powerful one, someone who creates his own values, who's not shaped by guilt or fear, who rises above herd thinking and carves his own path. This kind of man isn't broken by pain. He doesn't chase approval. He demands excellence. He stares into the abyss and doesn't blink. To become that, you have to kill your inner coward, starve your need for praise, live in challenge, discomfort, even isolation. Greatness isn't handed to you, it's seized. And here's the part where modern psychology actually backs Nietzsche up. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, doesn't comfort you. It confronts you. It forces you to see yourself. Then it demands action. You rewire your mind through pain, not protection. Growth happens at the edges, where it burns, where it breaks. You want confidence? Conquer your own chaos. Control your impulses. Face your addictions. Tell brutal truth. Lift something heavy, mentally or physically, every single day. You don't get strong by hiding from life. You get strong by mastering it. Nietzsche said, "Become who you are." Not a slogan, a war cry, a challenge. You don't stumble into who you are. You forge it with fire, with will, with discipline. Here's where most people check out. They'll call this video toxic, too harsh, too masculine. They'll say the world needs more empathy. But empathy without boundaries? That's suicide. Compassion without strength? That's exploitation. The world doesn't need more weakness dressed up as virtue. It needs people who are strong enough to protect, build, lead, and if necessary, fight. The Übermensch isn't cruel, but he's dangerous. And that's exactly why he's useful. He's sovereign. He doesn't beg the world to be safe. He becomes strong enough to survive it. That's your task. That's the path. If you're still here, you're not ordinary. You're not afraid of fire. You were made for more. Subscribe to Unscathed Mind. We won't sell you comfort. We'll arm you with clarity. We won't pet your ego. We'll forge your mind. The rest of the world can keep playing victim, but you're here to conquer. Welcome to the new breed. Unscathed, unbroken, unapologetic.